A joint communique has been issued 2 days after the closed-door retreat in Laos of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations ASEAN foreign ministers meet, welcomed unspecified practical measures to reduce tensions in the South China Sea and prevent accidents and miscalculations. The foreign ministers of Southeast Asian Regional Bloc on Saturday condemned violence against civilians in military-ruled Myanmar and urged all parties to end hostilities and follow an agreed peace plan. It also described North Korea's missile test as worrisome developments and urged peaceful resolution to the conflicts in Ukraine as well as Gaza, expressing concern. And DD India correspondent Jessica Taneja joins us live from newsroom with more. Jessica, as ASEAN communique flags concerns in the South China Sea, what is the message for China?
Right, and you saw the long communique that was put out by the ASEAN nations, and reading through it, of course, it mentions concerns in the South China Sea. And as we have been watching in the last 3 days, the forum has been dominated by the concern over the territorial expansion, especially with the Philippines, where there was a deal that was agreed few days ago to diffuse tensions in the Fort Thomas Shoals. Now, the issue is not exclusive only with the Philippines, but if you look at the other ASEAN nations as well, Vietnam, Brunei, also continue to have such similar concerns with China at this point, and not to forget Indonesia and Malaysia at the same time. And particularly with the Philippines, who you saw the foreign minister as well yesterday also say that there could be the possibility of that plan being concluded. But collectively, the bloc has made it clear that South China Sea has seen quite a lot of disruptions in the past, also because trillions of dollars worth of trade is conducted, especially on the waterways that is contested right now between Philippines and China, which is the Fort Thomas Shoals. Now, that particular shoal is about 200 kilometers from Philippines, and according to the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea, it is well within its right to call it its exclusive economic zone. But from China, Fort Thomas Shoals is about 1,000 kilometers, and that is, of course, extending China's 9-dash line. So going down to the exact escalation point or flashpoint between the two nations, where we've also seen water cannon fight in the recent past as well, where the Chinese vessels fired water cannons at the Philippine vessels. So of course, we've seen the kind of escalations that have gone down. So you'd understand the emphasis on South China Sea and the kind of tensions we've seen in the recent past.
And what has been key takeaways for India from the ASEAN foreign ministers meet?
Right, and it has been a successful conclusion of India's, representation at the ASEAN forum as well. If you look at the India-ASEAN, trade area, there has been a significant increase in the bilateral trade, of course, and 7 nations of the ASEAN joining the Indo-Pacific Economic Forum is also something that India had worked on very closely, particularly because of the fact that India advocates for a free and open Indo-Pacific, and we have been conducting various maritime activities, as well as a lot of drills with other nations as well, to protect the seas where so much trade at the moment takes place, and it is essential also to thwart those piracy attempts. So in that sense, India has been able to position itself as a reliable partner in the Indo-Pacific, not just to the ASEAN nations, but also the other partners. And you see the presence of Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State, and along with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi also present there. But at the same time, India has been able to put out its action plan on the areas of cooperation, especially when it comes to technology sharing, one that could really drive the momentum here.
Jessica, thank you for those updates.